Okay, so in this video, I want to cover a couple things in terms of psychology. As I said, I would be pairing my strategy videos with a psychology video. So here I am doing it now without wasting any more time. Let's get into the video. Now, there are a couple things I want to go over here, right? Some things that a lot of traders face when they're going into the markets, and some things that I personally have faced myself and that I have been able to get over. So, with all that being said, let's get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is extremely important when it comes into the markets. And what I mean by that is that if you don't have emotional discipline, a lot of things can go wrong very quickly when you are trading. So having emotional discipline is super important. I'm going to be going over a couple things that traders face, like I said, when trading that can help you. And I'm also going to be going over of the list on the problems on how some traders go through these problems and how you can fix them and how you can solve them. So, with all that being said, let's get into the first. First things first, fear of loss. Fear of loss, this means that you're scared of losing money in the markets. And fear is not something you want to go through when you're in the markets. This can lead to you missing opportunities in the market, whether it be Forex, options, or whatever you're trading. It doesn't really matter. Futures, options, all of this doesn't matter, right? So, like I was saying, fear of loss can lead you to exiting positions that are in profit and missing profits on your trade, and it can also lead you to take unnecessary losses as well. So it's important to follow your plan when you are trading and not to be scared. Think about it this way. You have to be okay with an uncertainty that comes with trading. Trading is just a bunch of probabilities. Sometimes you can even do everything right in trading and things can still go wrong. And that's just trading, right? And I know that sucks, but it is what it is, right? You have to be okay with that when that happens. So you have to be okay with that, right? You have to be okay with the fact that trading is uncertain. Not only that, if you're having fear of loss, you're either too attached to your money. Now, this can be a lot of reasons for a lot of traders. You either don't have a lot of money or you're putting up way too much to risk, which is a bad idea. So if you are doing this, please do not get into this and don't trade and come back when you have a better financial situation. And if this is not you, then you are either risking way too much. So de-risk, de-leverage yourself. There's no reason you should be risking that much on a trade. You know what I'm talking about. De-risk yourself. Make sure you can take losses and you can live with it. For all that being said, either don't trade because your financial situation is not good and come back when it's better so that you're okay with losing money that you're putting up. If you are just starting to trade, then you are going to experience losses, especially in these markets. They are extremely unforgiving and it will burn you until you can get back up on your feet and fight back. If you're risking a lot, stop. Follow your rules, de-risk yourself to an amount that you can live with. If you take a loss, if you don't, have a good financial situation. Go to if you don't have the money to trade and you're putting it up just because you want to make a lot of money really fast, I'm just letting you know that's not gonna happen, right? Trading is not a get rich quick scheme. You're not gonna get rich overnight. You're not gonna make a lot overnight. As a matter of fact, you're gonna be losing probably the first month of your trading, maybe even the first year. Ideally, you kind of want to just sit back and just chill for a little bit, like take it easy. Understand that this is not a get rich quick scheme. This takes time, takes effort. You need to put countless hours into it. You need to keep trying until you get it right, right? So with all that being said, if you don't have a good financial situation, go into demo or paper trading account until you get good with your financials, and then pick up trading and pick up a live account when you're ready. But even then, you shouldn't even be going into a live account and putting up money to risk when you are just starting out to trade. Stay to a demo account. Trade for a good 6 months, right? If you're profitable on that demo account, you're straight. You're good. You don't need to really do much. As long as you trade on a demo account or a paper trading account and you trade it for a good 6 months, there's nothing you really have to worry about in that sense, right? Because that's when you'll use the demo and the paper trading account as your little playground where you can refine your strategy and you can continue growing as a trader, right? And it will teach you a lot about the markets without having to put anything up to risk. It's basically like a free playground where they give you free money and then you don't have to really put anything up to risk, and you can also trade with that simulated capital or simulated money, right? You don't really have to put up too much risk and you should be fine there, right? Now, with fear of loss out of the way, we're into the next one. The second thing we'll talk about is greed. Now, this is something a little bit more dangerous than fear of loss. This is something a little bit more dangerous than fear of loss because this can burn you pretty badly if you allow it to take over. Now, greed is something that every single trader goes through. Greed is not a good trait to have. Is not It can lead to overtrading, excessive risk taking. A trader who's greedy may hold on to profitable trades for too long and hopes to make even more money, and that is just not worth it, because now you're at a bigger chance of getting burned if the market reverses and cooks you. Like I mentioned previously, as well, some traders may over leverage to flip out of their positions, and if that position goes against you, it's going to leave a massive loss on their head, bringing them into a period of drawdown, which was super unnecessary. And you probably would have been able to avoid it if you de-risked yourself or if you didn't get greedy. You want to be able to safely climb out. You want to be able to safely climb out of a drawdown. Don't put up more risk. If you're on a losing streak and hoping to catch that one trade, if you are at a loss and you're hoping to catch that one trade where you over leverage and you take a big trade and then you're hoping that it goes in your favor, it's not going to work. And if it does work, chances are it's not going to work every single time, right? It's not something that you can hold sustainable for a long time. And even then, if it doesn't work, you're going to be even at a greater loss. Because if that trade goes against you and it cooks you, then you're going to be even in a much deeper hole than you already are. Stop trying to get out of drawdown fast. Just take your time and de-risk yourself. So let's say I put up 2% of my account on a trade, right? Let's say I'm risking 2% on a trade. I lose that trade. So I de-risk myself back down to 1%. And if I lose again, I de-risk myself to 0.5% until I can make 1% back with the 0.5%. And then I risk 1% once I get up to the 1% again. And then after I make, and if I win that 1% trade, I start risking 2%, which is what I originally risked in the first place, which is 2%. Don't get greedy in the markets. You will get punished that way. And not only that you will get punished that way, you're going to lose a lot of money if you start getting greedy. The market rewards you for being disciplined and following your plan. You want to be able to think clearly and don't think about the money, just think about the progress, and you'll get there a lot faster. The progress is just the money is just a second part of the progress after you start getting good and you get good at your edge, right? So with that being said, let's move on to the next thing. All right. Next thing that we're going to talk about is revenge trading and hope trading. Where do I even start here? If you were hoping for a trade to go in your favor, you already lost the trade. Your edge, and what I mean by your edge, trade your system that works for you, right? If you have a system that works for you, then you just need to trade that, right? There's no point on hoping that a trade goes in your favor because at that point you already lost. Stop hoping that the market will go in your favor when most of the times it won't unless you get lucky. You trade your edge, your system, and your concepts. Never hoping a trade going in your favor. It's because 9 times out of 10 it won't. Now let's get into revenge trading. Why are you revenge trading? I understand if you took a loss and are trying to get it back, but it's not worth it. you're putting up more risk, and now you're at an even greater risk of taking more of a loss. It's not worth it to revenge trade. Wait until tomorrow or the next day. The market is not going anywhere. You will be able to think a lot more clearly the next day. So just leave it alone. Close your screen, close your computer, get off the charts, do something else, go out for a walk. There's no point on trying to revenge trade after you lost the previous trade. Just leave it be. Just build good habits. You don't want to build bad habits, especially in trading. Building bad habits in trading is not the place where you want to build at. Trust me, bro. Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about how we can fix these issues. First things first, if you're dealing with anything in terms of greed, have a trading plan and stick with it. Never abandon the plan. Stick with the plan. If you have to adapt, then adapt, but stick with your plan and create a plan. If you say you enter here and are exiting here, then stick to that plan. Don't try to go a little bit more just because you want a little bit more money. As soon as you start getting to your exit and it hits your exit, leave the trade and get away from your computer. Take only 1 through 3 trades a day. That's it. Don't go anymore. I would only take one, but that's just me, right? I don't even go. Two, stick to your plan. Even if you're scared. If you're scared, then do it scared. You're going to be okay. Even if you take a loss, be aware of your emotions and control them. Learn ways on how to control your emotions. And not only with that, right? You have to understand. You're going to take a lot of losses before you even become a profitable trader. You're going to go through a lot, and that's okay. If you're constantly just going to be losing money, that's okay as well. You're going to need to go through all of that before you even start seeing a little bit of progress. And that's okay. You need to understand that all of that stuff needs to happen before things can get better. And that's the only way you're going to learn. The only way you're going to learn if you start taking losses like that. So you need to be okay with the losses. And as long as it doesn't matter how much the losses are, well, it does matter in some sense, but just make sure when you do take losses that they're very tiny. Try to minimize them as much as possible. You don't want to take very huge losses. Minimize your losses as soon as possible. Try to keep them small. Keep your winners bigger. Your winners have to be bigger than your losses. Keep your losses small, and you should be fine. And with fear of loss, like I said, you're gonna take losses regardless, no matter what. You're not gonna be able to do anything about that. You're gonna take losses regardless. Like I said, you're going to take losses regardless. You need to remember this. You need to remember this as much as possible. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say a little bit closer to my mic for you can hear me, right? You hear me a lot better now, right? You are going to take losses no matter what. And that is okay. That is just the way how it goes until you get better at trading. Got it? Okay. Like I said, you're going to take losses regardless of the situation, no matter what. And that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just learn from every loss. Make sure the losses are small. Make sure your winners are bigger. And like I said, I'm going to be going over on my strategy and how I go about the markets and how I keep my winners bigger than my losses. And I'm going to show you on how you can do that. But keep this in mind every single time you go into the markets. Keep your losses small. Don't get greedy. Keep your winners bigger. Make sure you make sure you control your emotions and always come to the markets with a fresh perspective. Find new ways on how you can control your emotions, regardless that be meditating, going outside for a walk, doing whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to control your emotions. Never let your emotions get the best of you in trading. You always want to try to think as clearly as possible because emotions in trading can lead to very, very bad outcomes. And you don't want that. So, with all that being said, if you're struggling with greed, follow your plan. Stick to your rules. Don't break your rules. If you're scared, think in probabilities. When you go into a trade, think about it this way. What are the probabilities of this trade working out? What is the chances of this trade working out? What are the probabilities of this trade working out and this, that, and the third? Think about it that way. And if you're struggling, like I said, with greed, stick to your plans. Make a plan for yourself before you go into trading. Every single time you want to make a plan, regardless that be pre-market if you're trading stocks or options, or if you're trading forex, make a pre-market plan. Make a market plan. Make a plan, right? So before you start trading, ask yourself, where do I want price to go? Where do I want where do I want to take my entry, and where do I want my exit to be? And what are the confluences of me entering this trade, right? So these are things you always want to be able to these are the things that you want to think about before you enter a trade. Always think about it logically. Never think about it from an emotional standpoint. Always think about it logically. Okay, what are the probabilities of this trade working out? Is this a higher probability trade that I'm about to take? Is it not? Is it a low probability? Is it high probability? Am I following my plans? Are all my confluences there? Which means are all the things that I want to see when I'm entering a trade, are they there? If they're not, then don't enter the trade. You don't need to trade every single day. You don't need to. I kind of learned this as I started um getting into trading a lot more, that you don't need to trade every single day. You don't need to trade with a lot of capital to make a lot of money. You just need small, consistent gains. That's it. Keep your losses small, keep your winners bigger, but make sure it's consistent. Make sure you are consistent with your trades, and make sure your losses are small. And don't get greedy in the markets. Okay? Now, with all that being said, I'm pretty sure this is the end of this. This is the end of this one. There's nothing else I really should go over. Oh, and stop hoping for trades. Stop hoping for trades to go in your favor. Once you start hoping for a trade to go in your favor, you already lost. But with that being said, this is the end of this one. The next video I have coming out is gonna be another strategy video. So, with all that being said, enjoy this one because you're gonna need this. Psychology is Psychology is a big percentage of trading, and patience is also a big part of it. We're gonna go into a lot of it. Okay. So with all that being said, enjoy your night. Okay. Okay. All right.